In my line of work, I meet many men who repeatedly face the same issues in their relationships, and these problems usually involve a partner who is disrespectful, unfaithful, or financially exploitative. And if you consistently experience cheating, being used, or being demeaned by the women you date, there are clear reasons. This pattern keeps appearing in your life, and there are also ways to prevent it from continuing. So pay attention, because this is important to understand, since many men insist that the woman lied to them in the beginning or presented herself as perfect. But the truth is that women rarely conceal their nature completely, because even if they avoid speaking the truth directly, they always reveal it through their actions. From the very first days, every woman who eventually hurt you or took advantage of you gave clear red flags that you chose to overlook. Whether it was how she carried herself, what she wore, how liberated or impulsive she was sexually, how she discussed her former partners, or how she behaved as a parent, these behaviors reveal important traits. If she complained endlessly about an ex, called him toxic, yet stayed emotionally attached, or if she withheld a father from his children, you may think you will be the one man she treats differently, but that is not how consistent patterns work. Even women like myself show our flaws early on, but we choose men who allow us to get away with the most, because a woman with few red flags naturally pairs with a man who has firm boundaries, while a woman full of red flags tends to choose a man with low self-esteem, weak boundaries, and little self-respect, because he is easier to control and easier to manipulate. So if you are a man who values staying connected more than being respected, you will regularly find yourself mistreated and unsure why. And one of the first things that signals to a woman that a man has low self-worth is when he becomes overly impressed by her looks. Because when a man treats her beauty as something extraordinary, she senses that he can be controlled through attraction. Whereas a man who appreciates her beauty but does not depend on it commands respect and pushes her to bring emotional maturity, kindness, accountability, and consistency, instead of relying solely on appearance or sex in women. Can sense quickly when a man lacks experience with beautiful women, and they learn that they can stretch his boundaries, cheat, or disrespect him, and he still won't leave, because he believes he cannot do better. So the next major issue is that men without confidence fail to set boundaries. They stay silent when they feel disrespected because they want to avoid conflict, but a man who prioritizes peace over self-respect eventually loses both respect and the relationship itself, because boundaries require calmly communicating what is unacceptable, and if she repeatedly violates those limits, you do not argue, you simply remove your presence, since staying after repeated disrespect teaches her that you have no self-respect, and when she sees that you will not leave, she stops respecting you permanently and begins pushing further each time. And many men even reward the bad behavior by begging her to stay, buying gifts, apologizing when they weren't wrong, or paying her bills, which only encourages more disrespect, because now she knows she can violate you and still receive benefits. And this dynamic usually stems from childhood, where the man may have had a mother or a maternal figure who was inconsistent in love, dismissive, emotionally unavailable, or conditional with affection, leaving him to feel that love must be earned, chased, or bought. And because this is the only form of attachment he knew growing up, he unconsciously repeats those patterns in adulthood, accepting mistreatment as normal and believing pain is part of love, so he may genuinely not know what healthy love looks like, such as a woman who listens, apologizes, nurtures, cares, and respects his emotional needs. And unless he recognizes and heals these patterns, he will continue losing women in more painful ways. Because no amount of begging, buying, or sacrificing will fix a dynamic where the foundation is disrespect and instability. And while forgiveness is important, boundaries must remain in place, and consequences must follow violations. Otherwise, this cycle repeats forever. And by learning to value yourself, strengthening your confidence, understanding your childhood wounds, setting fair boundaries, rejecting emotional manipulation, and refusing to reward disrespect, you naturally attract healthier relationships and become a more grounded, confident, and self Respecting man capable of creating a stable, loving partnership without falling into the same painful patterns again.